Hello and welcome to Game Day U, Oklahoma's only weekly OU football pregame show on TV. I'm your host, Cam Williams, and I'm joined alongside my esteemed analysts, Michael Thompson, Hallie McPherson, and Andrew West. And OU's game versus Auburn 2 weeks ago was only the third time these two teams have met, with the Sooners leading the series 2-0. And it started with some controversy as Isaiah Satania fumbled this ball. It's going to be returned for an Auburn defender all the way for a touchdown. But after further review was deemed that Isaiah Satania's foot was down. Next possession, Isaiah Satania is going to catch this ball from John Mateer to score from 24 yards to make it 10-3 OU. But after the game, the SEC deemed that Isaiah Satania was displaying an unfair tactic in an attempt to score. Nonetheless, OU moves and John Mateer takes this in from 9 yards to make it 22-17, and then the sack attack happened. Grayson Halton here is going to put Jackson Arnold into the ground, and R. Mason Thomas is going to evade two Auburn blockers and seal this one 24-17. We just showed you the highlights, but Andrew West has more on the game.
Yeah, some great plays, Cam, but here's the real highlight of the game. You can see John Mateer looking at his hand here, but the play in question comes 5 minutes into the first quarter. Mateer looks at Isaiah Satania, but hits his hand on defensive end Kendrick Falk's helmet. And I'm no helmet maker or expert, but I'm pretty sure helmets are hard.
Yeah, Andrew, the secondary had its struggles 2 weeks ago, and Mateer's broken thumb was the highlight of the Sooners' bye week. But their focus now is on Michael Hawkins making his first start against Kent State.
Well, Cam, the run game was less than impressive last week. It felt like Torrey Blaylock was just running into a wall every carry. The Sooners averaged 1.2 yards per carry, and we still don't know what's up with Jaden Ott, but they're going to need to figure that out because that will not cut it in the SEC.
I'm with you on that, Michael, but OU's D-line performance paved the way to a win against Auburn, helping tie the school record with 9 sacks in one game, giving Jackson Arnold a not-so-pleasant welcome back in the Palace, making him the most sacked quarterback in college football.
How do you not look at John Mateer? He completed 15 of his last 16 pass attempts and led the Sooners 75 yards to take the lead in the fourth. And now we know he did all of that with only one thumb. That's what winners do, and if he gets back to 100%, that's what this team will keep doing.
Yeah, last Tuesday, Sooner quarterback John Mateer flew to Los Angeles, California to undergo surgery on his right throwing hand. As Mateer returned on Thursday, our colleagues at OU Nightly were covering his return, and OU head coach Brent Venables had this to say.
Mateer made it back, in case you guys wondering. I know there were some of y'all that are kind of weird and hung out at the airport for him. You know who you are. But sounds like he avoided you. So anyway, I'm going to make him available to y'all too. So you get a chance to ask him whatever questions that you want.
Well, the great mystery of how Oklahoma has not forced a turnover yet, well, it may never be solved. They are the only team in the country that has not done so, but standout freshman Eli Bowen, who had a big interception against Alabama last year, is back this week. Now, Gentry Williams is excited for Bowen's positive effect on the whole team.
You know, another great player, you know, freshman All-American last year, to have that type of player on the field, you know, great things are going to come his way. He's so smart, intelligent, he knows his job really well. He helps me, he helps everybody in that room, he helps the whole defense. So just having him back, it's going to be really good.
Oklahoma's running back room has been inconsistent starting out the season, ranking 12th in rushing in the SEC, and running back Jaden Ott hasn't seen the field much so far, but offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle says the bye week treated him well.
He had a great bye week practices. I thought he came to work. He had a great urgency about him, and you know, and followed that up with a great Monday, you know, walkthrough yesterday. I mean, he was really good in those, and so he's been focused in, dialed in, and really had a great bye week practice.
Wide receiver transfer Javonte Gibson is making his Sooner debut after suffering a leg injury in the spring. Gibson hauled in 70 catches for over 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns last season at Arkansas Pine Bluff. It's safe to say he's a commodity his teammates are excited to have back.
He's a great player, all about all the right things, and works hard and learn the playbook really quick, and he's going to go out there and make plays like he does. So, I mean, we got a bunch of great players, a bunch of great playmakers, and that's just another one that we're really excited about. We're glad that he's going to be back.
Should be interesting to see what Gibson does in his debut. Coming up after the break, Game Day U reporter Darby McCormick has the story about a delicious staple in the Norman community. Darby?
That's right, Cam. A delicious staple at that. If you've driven down Lindsay Street, you've probably smelled this place from a mile away. Hear about the deep history that this restaurant has with Sooner fans and football when we come back.
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time.
And she'd buy the same gifts over and over.
Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together.
It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
We said we'd never give in to a meltdown.
Mariella!
Never leave the house looking, well, and never let them out of our sight. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Welcome back to Game Day U. You can't be around Norman without trying some of the great food that the city has to offer. Darby McCormick has more on a place that even visiting teams fans can't resist. Darby?
Cam, this place attracts fans that love the crimson and cream as well as any color in the rainbow. And that's because of the owners, who not only know how to compete, but also know how to win. The hearts of the customers, of course.
In the hustle and bustle of Norman, right off Lindsay Street, there's been one smoking star that's remained the same throughout the years.
Little by little, you just start becoming one of the, I'll say, the best of Norman.
Ray's Barbecue, and that's because of...
The owner is Daryl Ray. He was a football player. He played at OU and also with the New York Jets. He was a baller.
An owner fit for the gridiron and the smoker.
He's like really competitive, so just as you see him playing football, he's the same on the restaurant business.
And that dedication can be seen not only now.
As you can see, the whole story is all about his histories back there on Talwal and this Boomer Sooner everywhere.
But all that grit comes from a heart of gold.
We treat everybody like as a family here, and I think that's what people love the most.
And it's a family that keeps growing with every new fan base that touches down in the Sooner State.
We have been becoming like a tourist place, and we also were featured at the College Game Day on ESPN. We were featured there, and it was crazy. It was amazing.
But visitors don't get too comfy.
They can have it for one day. The rest is for Boomer Sooner people.
A fan base and a city that has over time become the reason for Rays.
We have some people that come here every single day, and it's like, yeah, it's like eating lunch at my house or something like that, and that's why we love it.
And guys, I hope y'all didn't forget, it is Parents Weekend, so I brought my mom in. Mom, Evie told me that Ray's Barbecue will be catering Kent State's post-game meal. What do you think of that?
I think that's probably the best thing that's going to happen for them while they're here in Norman. What do you think?
You know what? After what I heard from the start of the show, I think so too. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Darby. It'll be the first start of the 2025 season for sophomore quarterback Michael Hawkins Jr. against Kent State as he tries to keep the ship afloat with the injury to Heisman candidate John Mateer. Game Day U reporter Dalton Davis has more on this week's Sooner Spotlight.
Yeah, Cam, this week's Sooner Spotlight is the one and only Michael. Not Jackson, not Jordan, and definitely not Thompson, but Michael Hawkins Jr. He may not have expected to start this soon, but with John Mateer sidelined, he's ready to step into the spotlight.
Just being able to process the field, get through my reads, and just sit back there confident. I felt real good. Just, throwing to my guys and throwing them open. So I feel like I took a big step this past offseason. A big part of that is because of the people around me, like I said, Coach Kuz and Coach Arbuckle, and just the support staff. And it's just been a great environment I've been in.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he's in a really good spot right now, and he got thrown into the fire kind of last year, and so was able to get those game reps and learn that way, like you said. But it's also been really good for him to be in a system with great coaches we have, like Coach Arbuckle and Coach Kuz, and learn from them, and he's doing really good.
Cool thing is that I got to see John in the position that Mike was in. I think that stuck with John. I think John knows that it's not just it's not all about me. It's really cool to see their relationship build. It's cool to see John in that role with the number 2 quarterback, and it's cool to see Mike handle his business the right way as that number 2 quarterback in the relationship with the number 1 quarterback.
It may be a temporary change at QB for the Sooners, but for Hawkins, it's a golden opportunity to turn a cameo into a highlight. Hawkins is looking to make his 5th career start for the Sooners and get a win against Kent State today at 3. I'm Dalton Davis reporting. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Dalton. When we come back, we'll have more on OU's contest against Kent State. Stick around for more Game Day U. Welcome back to Game Day U. The Sooners face a Kent State squad this afternoon who simply can't generate a rushing attack. First-year head coach Mark Carney's Golden Flashes only average 86 yards a game, and I expect the Sooners to cut that number in half.
Well, they are the Golden Flashes, but the only flash of life that they have shown this year was a 100-yard kick return to beat mighty Merrimack. Kent State's defense is giving up 44 points a game and only puts up 18. They can't defend, can't score, Kent State.
One thing they can do, Michael, is give up passing yards on defense. Kent State ranks 127th in the nation for allowing passing yards, giving up 285.5 yards a game, and Michael Hawkins Jr. should not have a problem with this Golden Flash defense.
Just sticking with the defense, Kent State gives up an average of 541 yards per game. Oklahoma's defense gives up 207. If my Oklahoma education serves me right, that is more than double. Kent State's defense is like trying to teach your dog how to sit. They just stand there and look confused.
Last week, the SEC released the Sooners' opponents for the next 4 years through 2029, and there are some good ones. Next year, Texas A&M comes into the Palace before OU Texas, and it'll be the first time since 2013 these two squads meet, and the Sooners lead the all-time series 18-9.
Well, Cam, every Sooner fan remembers what they were doing on January 1st, 2018, which was probably crying. Blowing a 16-point first-half lead and a shot at the national championship to Georgia in the Rose Bowl is something that will play in the minds of OU fans when the Sooners head to Georgia next year.
Michael, it looks like the Sooners get both sides of the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. OU heads down to the Swamp in 2026 for the first time in program history. These two squads have only met twice before with 1 win each.
And Andrew, jumping to 2027 for OU's 4th season in the SEC. They travel to Vanderbilt for the first time since 1976. The Sooners have 2 wins on the Commodores and also a tie from 1933. This will be the round robin for the Sooners competing against each SEC team. Excuse me, SEC team at least once.
Now let's take a look at the SEC slated games for Week 6 of the 2025 season. 2-2 Kentucky travels to Athens to face Gunner Stockton in this high-powered 12th-ranked Georgia squad.
Well, the Vanderbilt hype train got going last year, Cam, after their upset win over Alabama. And College Game Day thinks that a rematch between the two is cooler than Miami at Florida State. But with Bama coming off that huge win at Georgia, I think this is where the hype dies for Vandy.
Mississippi State almost pulled off the upset on 15th-ranked Tennessee last week. Now they head to College Station to take on red-hot Texas A&M. Last time the Bulldogs upset a top 10 team on the road, 2020 at LSU. But I think that streak ends today. Ding, 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 ding. That's my cowbell.
And Texas versus Florida was thought to showcase 2 top quarterbacks, and that was before the season started. This will be an Arch Manning and DJ Lagway battle to get their seasons on track, but a Longhorn win would be a boost for Texas before the Red River rivalry game.
Yeah, Hallie, that Texas versus Florida game will be one I have my eye on for sure. When Game Day U returns, we're back talking about the Sooners and things to watch for against Kent State.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Oh, right. Look at you taking the stairs. Who are you?
We're your lungs. We are proud of you for quitting smoking, but you still may be at risk for lung cancer.
A routine cancer scan can detect it early when it's more curable.
Good to know. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
So do we.
So do we.
Listen to your lungs. Get a routine screening that could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back to Game Day U. Now, it's time for us to break down some of the storylines ahead of the Sooners matchup versus Kent State. Starting off with a reinforcement in the wide receiver room with Giovanni Gibson set to make his season debut Saturday. The Arkansas Pine Bluff transfer had been sidelined because of a broken leg that required surgery in the spring. Gibson now has worked his way back onto the field, and the 6'2", 211-pound FCS All-American should bring a jump ball ability to the Sooners that they haven't seen in a while.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, still no turnovers for ESPN's #2 total defense in the country. They have had their chances, and it just won't happen for the Sooners. But it's not stopping their domination. Oklahoma allows just 9 points a game, and that will produce wins, but you have to be able to force turnovers. It feels like the defense has butterfingers, and maybe this is finally the week.
Michael Hawkins Jr. will make his first start in the 2025 season, having Hawktober come early. Hawkins did see the field against Temple in the fourth quarter with just 5 passing yards and 25 rushing yards. But the last time Hawkins started for the Sooners was in the OU Navy Bowl game last season, which did not give a happy ending for OU. He is 1-3 as a starter, but Hawkins has a very different offense on his side this season.
A bye week mixed with an opponent like Kent State is huge for teams that need to get healthy, and Oklahoma's offensive line definitely fits that mold. While offensive linemen Michael Fasusi, Jake Mikla, and Fabechi Wiwu were all available against Auburn, Fasusi only played 9 snaps. While Mikla and Wiwu played every snap, I'm sure they appreciate the extra time to refresh.
Yeah, Andrew, OU's O-line will be healthy this week, but starting quarterback John Mateer will obviously be out for at least this game versus Kent State. Speculation has rose on him potentially returning for the Red River Showdown, and I'm banking on it. Money Mateer won't miss OU Texas.
Well, obviously, they would love to have John Mateer back sooner than later, but they cannot afford for him to get hurt worse. One loss won't ruin the year if they drop one of the next few, but unless the Chipotle people are right, I see him coming back against Ole Miss.
One loss doesn't seem like much, but that schedule is loaded. They can't afford to drop winnable games. If the Auburn game told us anything, it's that John Mateer's one tough son of a gun. The tortilla slinger is right. The gunslinger will be back for Texas.
I agree with Andrew. If he can play most of a game with a broken thumb, I believe he will do whatever it takes to not miss another minute after today's game.
Yeah, Hallie, if Mateer plays against Texas, Dr. Stephen Shin might need a statue. Coming up after the break, we'll have some new faces on set ready to make some bold predictions for this weekend's games.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/actnow.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater. Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time.
And she'd buy the same gifts over and over. Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together. It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Welcome back to Game Day U, where some new faces are here in studio, ready to give some bold predictions for this sixth weekend of college football. With me are Peyton Davis, Tanner Frank, and Natalie Orozco. Up first, Arch travels to the Swamp to take on DJ Lagway and the Gators in primetime. Peyton, who comes out on top?
Florida's coming off of 3 straight losses, and that win is not going to come this week. The Gator offense, terrible. 5 turnovers at LSU, and you're 1 of 19 on third downs of 9+ yards. Give me that gaudy orange.
After coming off a 55-0 win over Sam Houston, big deal. I think Texas comes into Gainesville overconfident and allows DJ Lagway to save Florida's season. Arch has only won against non-Power 5 competition this year. Arch Manning Fraud Watch on the way.
Okay, you know, Tanner, I love your confidence. However, I don't think DJ Lagway can handle Texas defense. Did you see the 4 times he got sacked against Miami? I don't see Lagway making big plays this game. I do see the Longhorns bulldozing the Gators.
Diego Pavia and the Commodores hit the road to take on Bama in a big ranked matchup in the early slate. Who comes out on top in this SEC showdown?
Diego Pavia is undefeated against teams from Alabama, and that streak isn't ending today. The Tide's biggest problem is their run defense. They currently rank 90th, while Vandy is ranked 18th in rushing yards per game. I've got the Commodores rolling the Tide.
Like you said, Peyton, 2 words, Diego Pavia. Diego leads Vanderbilt in both passing and rushing yards through 5 games. And the last time Bama saw a dual-threat quarterback of this caliber against FSU, it resulted in a loss. So give me Vandy to show him some real SEC ball.
Okay, Tanner, I'm going to piggyback off you. Diego Pavia is Vanderbilt's golden Commodore. But can we talk about the versatile tight end, Eli Stowers? Put him on the inside, outside slot, running back. Pavia will find him. I got Vanderbilt for another upset.
Carson Beck and the Canes travel to Seminole Nation in an in-state rivalry to decide bragging rights. Peyton, what's the verdict?
Well, the Seminoles fumbled it last week, to put it nicely. FSU's offense is scoring well this season, but the Miami defense is one of the best in the country, only allowing 11.5 points per game this season. Give me the Hurricanes to drown the Noles.
I'll give you credit, Peyton. Miami does have one of the better defenses in the country. But what do you know what's better than a good defense? A better offense. Give me FSU and their #1 ranked offense in total yardage.
Right, Tanner, I hear you, but I'm with my girl Peyton. Ever heard defense wins championships? Plus, with a quarterback like Carson Beck, who leads his team with 972 passing yards, yeah, I think it's all about the U. Give me Miami.
Lastly, OU taking on Kent State, where they are honoring the 1985 national championship team. Peyton, what's the outcome?
This OU team is light years ahead of that 2022 squad that beat Kent State 33-3. The Sooners may be without Mateer, but let's not forget that Hawkins had success on the road last year with a lesser O-line. OU will run off in a flash with today's game.
This Sooner offense doesn't need to be half as good as they are usually with Mateer. OU's defense is top 3 in 6 different categories. Give me OU in a complete shutout.
Yes, another thing we can all agree on. Kent State is ranked amongst the lowest in the nation, offense and defense. So, hey, maybe the Sooners will finally get their turnover? I see the Sooners breezing through this win for sure.
Sounds like a lot of great games to look out for this weekend. Thanks a lot for watching Game Day U, where it just means more. For Peyton Davis, Tanner Frank, and Natalie Orozco, I'm Cam Williams. We'll be back next week when OU matches up against Texas. Have a great Sooner Game Day.